Australia, a vast island continent, a bewitching combination of tropical rainforests, arid plains, lush grasslands, and beautiful coastline. Secluded over millions of years, it's evolved its own unique animal species. And if there's one image that says Australia more than any other, it's the koala mother, with her baby, or Joey, clinging to her back. Raising their young in the treetops, these dedicated mums teach their babies all they need to survive. How to feed and climb, and the fine art of learning to jump. But breeding season is a brutal business, and koalas turn from peaceable loners into aggressors and defenders, fighting, biting, and shouting each other down. And the joeys get caught in the middle. This is the secret life of the koala. Cape Otway in Victoria is a large area of temperate forest at the southernmost tip of Australia. Home to a number of koalas. It's an idyllic spot with little human habitation and a haven for wildlife. The koalas are specialised to feed on the eucalyptus trees here, known as manna gums. It's a peaceful place for these marsupial mums to raise their pouch young, known as joeys. But in September, spring in Australia, the tranquility here is shattered. Because it's the start of breeding season. And large male Rocky is on the lookout for a mate. Rocky is one of a number of koalas being studied by researchers in Cape Otway. He wears a collar which gathers data about his movements and breeding activity. As the weather warms up in spring, male koalas' testosterone levels rise. And they begin to let out their bellowing mating calls. There's an abundance of koalas here. With many living in a relatively small area, breeding season is a competitive time. Males like Rocky and fellow large male Buster will all be on the trail of the same females. This can be an intense time for females, particularly those with joeys. Koalas have just one baby once a year. Breeding season lasts from September until December. Early in the season, it's possible for females to become pregnant again while they're still caring for last year's young. Like all marsupials, a koala mum raises her joey in a pouch on her belly. Born after a very short pregnancy of just 35 days, the tiny joey crawls blind and hairless out of the birth canal and into the pouch, where it will feed and develop. It gets its first taste of the wide world outside when it emerges from the pouch at around 7 months. Once out, the joey clings tightly to its mother, always lying facing her, holding onto her with all four limbs. Wherever the mother climbs, her joey will go too. The joey has sharp claws and a vice-like grip that digs into mum's fur and stops it from falling. In the early days, the baby moves in and out of the pouch. Once it's larger, it sleeps in mum's lap, facing her belly, like this joey that's around 7 months old. At another study site in Queensland in North Australia, a koala mother, Willa, takes an important step. Her female joey, Bobby, clings onto her fur. As Willa turns to climb down, she leaves Bobby on the branch above her. She's teaching Bobby to climb. It's a nerve-wracking moment as the joey begins her uncertain descent. Like any mum standing with arms outstretched for a toddler, Willa waits as Bobby takes her vital first steps. Albeit backwards. She's back in Mum's arms, safe again. Until Bobby can climb confidently, she's completely dependent on her mum. Koalas are devoted mothers. Willa will teach Bobby everything the joey needs to learn to survive as a solitary, tree-dwelling marsupial. As summer approaches, Willa needs to help Bobby to move towards independence, because once breeding season is underway, their time together could be limited. Joeys take milk from their mum's pouches for around 12 months, usually sitting on their mother's laps to feed. As the joey grows, the mother's teat will elongate, so it sometimes protrudes from the pouch opening. Before she can breed again, a koala mum needs her joey to wean. But it's not easy eating eucalyptus. These tough and fibrous leaves contain a variety of chemical compounds that make them toxic. Digesting the leaves takes up a huge amount of the koala's energy, which is why they need to sleep so much. Eucalyptus is too tough for a young joey's system to handle until it has the right microorganisms in its gut. It gets these directly from its mother in a rather unusual way. When the joey's between 5 and 7 months old, mum produces a special kind of poop, known as pap, which the baby eats. It contains all the bacteria it needs for digesting eucalyptus leaves. Not long after eating its first pap meal, the joey develops powerful premolars, and is ready to make its first attempt at eating leaves. Willa is showing Bobby the ropes. Koalas are famously choosy about the varieties of eucalyptus they'll eat. It's likely they select leaves depending on the levels of toxicity. And it's thought that joeys inherit their mum's food choices. But it takes skill learning how to find the best leaves while clinging on with the other paw. By the time she's 12 months, Bobby will be fully weaned and can feed entirely on eucalyptus foliage. In Cape Otway, in Victoria, youngster Theo is around 9 months old. He's permanently out of the pouch and more confident in his movements than a younger joey. He's now what's known as a backrider and usually travels around sitting high up on his mum, Jasmine. Theo's learning to gradually make longer trips away from Jasmine, exploring the branches nearby, while looking to Mum for reassurance. He can't always decide between the temptations of striking out on his own and Jasmine's comforting back. These early months of increasing independence are not without risk. A powerful owl or wedge-tailed eagle could pluck him straight out of the trees. And there are other risks for Theo which are closer to home. The forest is full of males with designs on his mother. The trees are alive with the calls of male koalas, looking for love. Some of Australia's indigenous people call the koala coo-baw, an imitation of the noise of the male's call. Early settlers in Australia were terrified by this sound, ringing out through the night air. They thought it might be lions. Even today, unsuspecting tourists camping in koala country can be unnerved by these deep, guttural roars. Koala males make this reverberating noise by inhaling and exhaling at the same time. With his deep voice, Rocky can make himself sound far bigger than he is, a useful way of attracting females and intimidating his rivals. It enables him to advertise his best features without having to move too far. As a eucalyptus-eating folivore, Rocky has a low-energy lifestyle and needs a lot of rest. This loud bellowing saves him from expending unnecessary energy while he's looking for a mate. And it tells other koalas where to find him. Research has found that females prefer to mate with bigger males. So these females will evaluate Rocky's sex appeal based on how much of a racket he makes. Koalas are sexually dimorphic, meaning there are physical differences between the genders. While the females have pouches, the males are much larger and have distinctive scent glands on their chests. Rocky uses the large, moist scent gland as his calling card. As he climbs, he rubs his sternum against the trunk or branch of the tree, smearing his scent for 1 or 2 meters along it. As he descends, Rocky also dribbles his urine along the branches to pack an extra aromatic punch. Koalas have a powerful sense of smell, and it's through scent that they can pass mating messages to nearby females. Male koalas can also detect the smell of each other and work out when it's better to keep away. In some parts of the country, koala populations are dwindling and the koalas' home ranges can be large. Males may have to travel long distances in their search for a mate. But here in Cape Otway, there's a high density of up to 9 adults per hectare. So it's harder for males to maintain distinctive territory, and every mate is hard won. Rocky sniffs carefully to detect female scent. A female's urine will be full of hormonal information about whether or not she's ready to mate, and will encourage competition between males. Once a male gets a whiff of a female he likes the smell of, he'll approach. But for a smaller male, pursuing a female in this intense environment can be tough. Teenage koala Simon picks up a pleasant smell in the tree. Koalas don't have good eyesight, so he uses his smell to guide him. Excited by the scent, he moves quickly through the branches to find her. But in his eagerness, he doesn't seem to realise that he's encroaching on the territory of a larger male, Buster. Oblivious to anything but the alluring smell, Simon doesn't hear Buster behind him. Young Simon has nowhere to go but onto thinner branches. He's trapped. Buster's keen to get to him, but he knows instinctively that the branch won't take his weight. Simon gives out small cries of fear. He's forced to sit it out and wait for Buster to retreat. Unwilling to release the young male, Buster keeps edging forward. Before he eventually moves back and reasserts his dominance more safely. Buster's bellow isn't just for the benefit of the ladies. It's also a warning to other males to keep away. The latest research suggests that koalas actually use their bellow as a way of avoiding a fight. Another male can work out from afar how big Buster is and decide whether it could be worth taking him on, or whether to steer clear. Simon should have listened before he ventured into Buster's turf. Buster eventually descends. Simon has had a lucky escape. He may think twice about approaching that female again. But even when a big male like Buster has detected the presence of an attractive female, there's no guarantee she'll be interested in him. This female's bellowing means, "Leave me alone." She'll only mate once per breeding season. And in an area like this, with so many males, she can be more picky about her potential mate. If she has already copulated, she won't want to again. But making this noise has a downside. Another male hears her and follows her bellows to mount his own challenge for her. A dominant male like Rocky isn't going to wait for a female to choose him. He's on the prowl, determined to mate. Most male mammals will pursue females when they're in estrus or on heat. But this doesn't seem to be the case with koalas. They're not aggressive animals at other times of the year, But when Rocky's hormones are raging, he'll attempt to mate with a female, whether she's ready or not. Rocky attacks a female in a bid to mate her. She fights tooth and nail to stop him and manages to fend him off. An ardent male can be vicious, biting or even pulling the female out of the tree. After the attack, both signal their discontent. Rocky bellows to reinforce his point, and she keeps up the distress cries. But what looks like unpleasant sexual aggression actually has a purpose. It's thought that attempted matings, even unsuccessful ones, can bring the female into estrus and make her ready to mate. Researchers think that it may take repeated attempts before she becomes receptive, and that ovulation could be induced by coital stimulation. It might not seem like the most attractive chat-up move, but attempting copulation with a female might be a good way for Rocky to introduce himself. She may be more likely to choose him when she does come into estrus. For now, this female shows no sign of changing her mind. Rocky's a powerful male, but if she can fight him off easily, she may not consider him her ideal mate. Undeterred by his failed encounter with the other female, Rocky now sets his sights on Jasmine. Even though she has Theo on her back, this won't put him off trying to mate her. Rocky's still a formidable prospect. He's missing a claw, most likely from fighting. It could have been ripped out by another male, or from making an ill-judged jump to get away. He may have detected that Jasmine is close to estrus, so he'll do everything in his power to keep her to himself, which means aggressively guarding her. Jasmine and Theo feed, while he sleeps nearby. While there are still plenty of leaves in this tree, she will eventually need to descend. But he's effectively blocking the branch, so she can't move down. Rocky stays in the same tree, guarding Jasmine for several days and nights. When he awakes, getting to Jasmine is the only thing on his mind, whether she's in estrus or not. And now Theo is at risk. So far, the presence of a large male nearby hasn't bothered the joey, but as Rocky approaches, he becomes distressed. and starts to make small, frightened noises. Jasmine can only look on as the large male sniffs at her baby. But her small squeaks betray her anxiety. Males on a mission to mate can be callous towards joeys and even push them out of the trees. Theo tries to move away from Rocky, but the branch is too small for him to go further. Rocky keeps sniffing and pawing at the frightened youngster. When Rocky becomes distracted by smelling the branch, Theo makes a mad dash back to Mum. But it's now that Rocky moves in. This time, Theo makes good his escape. Rocky seizes his chance and closes in on Jasmine. Jasmine fends him off with yowls and scratches and even bites him on the head. A male often bellows after a failed attempt at mating, perhaps in frustration or as a way of telling the female what she's missing. And for Rocky, that's 2 rejections to complain about. But he doesn't force himself on her again. Theo continues eating in peace, and Rocky collapses with fatigue after his brief bout of activity. For an animal with little energy to expend, a violent encounter is exhausting. Jasmine doesn't seem too bothered by his continued presence. She doesn't move away when he drops off to sleep. It could be that his prolonged proximity has made him seem less threatening. Or she may be approaching estrus and slowly coming round to him. Soon all 3 are asleep in the tree together. But not all males in the forest at Cape Otway are so patient. Buster's on a mission, making his way through the trees. His sense of smell is working overtime. He smells and marks as he goes. One branch he climbs onto already has a resident male. But this one doesn't fancy taking on a dominant rival and makes himself scarce without a peep. Buster keeps going. He's detected a female he's definitely interested in and is prepared to cover some territory to get to her. Nothing's going to stand in his way. Even if she's in another tree, Buster uses his powerful claws to grip the bark. His muscular legs and upper body strength help him to shin up an almost vertical trunk. Then he homes in on a female known as Julia and lets her know his intentions. Julia, who has a young female Joey with her, bellows back to tell him she's not interested. Buster stands guard while Julia does her best to ignore him. The Joey looks on, bemused. Then Julia tries to quietly slink away. But Buster's in hot pursuit. He drops below her. The Joey leaps away as he tries to grab Julia to mate her from behind. Julia succeeds in fending him off. But there's a problem. Now Buster's between Julia and her Joey. And the little female has no way of escape. If she falls to the ground, she may well die. And if the fall doesn't kill her, predators might. Julia looks around for her youngster. She tries to climb. But Buster's blocking her. But Joey needs to find a way back to her mum. This could be the furthest she's ever been from her side. The scared Joey makes her way halfway back down. But Buster moves up. Now he's placed between mother and baby in a terrifying standoff. Desperate for warmth and comfort, the little Joey inches along the branch to get to her mother. She's clearly terrified as Buster sniffs at her. But then, something extraordinary happens. Despite her apparent fear, the baby climbs onto Buster's back. It's thought that a joey won't recognise its mother's scent until it's 10 months old. In her desire for refuge, she's made a terrible mistake. Any sudden move he makes and she could be thrown off. Luckily, Buster tolerates her presence. He may be growing weary after expending a huge amount of energy attacking Julia. But when he starts to bellow again, the baby realises she's got to escape. The frightened joey still needs to bridge a huge gap to get back to her mum. All Julia can do is sit still, powerless to help. If she moves any closer, Buster may grab her again. But the large male won't care if her baby falls. Time for this novice climber to take her chances. She has second thoughts. Then summons the courage to try again. It's a precarious journey along the branches towards mum and safety. Reunited at last. As soon as she's got her baby back, Julia moves further up the tree and away from Buster's amorous advances. Across the forest, Rocky, Jasmine and Theo are still happily sharing a tree. Rocky's patient guarding and earlier mating attempt appear to have done the trick. Finally, under the cover of darkness, the two adults mate. Mating lasts as little as 2 minutes before Rocky's job is done, and they go their separate ways. After mating with Rocky, Jasmine could have another joey in her pouch in just over a month's time. When that happens, youngster Theo will need to move on. Jasmine encourages him to spend more time off her back. And she stops letting him feed so that he weans. Theo tries to get to Jasmine's pouch. her refusal forces him to look for leaves. When Jasmine decides that it's time for Theo to go, she stops him from riding on her back completely. She turns her back on her Joey to signal that she's losing interest. This may be her way of encouraging her youngster to find his own home range. While a female Joey can stay living near to her mum, Theo will have to travel further away to find a territory. It's why young males are so much at risk. They have to find a home range of their own while avoiding aggressive older males. Theo won't reach sexual maturity until he's 4 and weighs around 12 kilos. He'll need to be big enough to stand up to a large rival before he can mate. Meanwhile, Julia's Joey isn't facing weaning yet. If Julia doesn't breed this year, the baby will be able to stay with her mum for longer and will have a greater chance of survival when she does go it alone. For now, Mum and Joey are steering clear of males and are moving through the trees together. And Buster, he's still prowling the forest, looking for a mate. In another month, breeding season will be at an end. The koalas will return to their customary solitary lives once more. And peace will be restored to the forest.